Plantains are in season and so they are very cheap. But you can't enjoy them as only fufu, or else it will be boring. Why not try this bread recipe using plantain? To start, we'll measure out 3 teaspoons of active instant yeast and half a teaspoon of sugar. We'll combine this with 25 milliliters of water in a bowl. Stir everything together. Cover it and keep it in a warm plate for about 10 minutes. So whilst that is happening, we're going to melt our margarine. You could use butter if you can afford it. Margarine is cheaper. So melt your margarine. That's what basically I'm doing. Then after that, I'm going to mash some ripe plantains. I don't mash it finely, just mash it roughly. So for this recipe, for this recipe, you would need 1 cup, and a cup in this sense or in this video is 250 milliliters. So when you have a cup, know that it's 250 milliliters. So mash your ripe plantains to be able to get that amount. So after 10 minutes, our yeast water has formed up beautifully. It means the yeast is alive. So we're going to combine the salt, sugar, and the mashed plantain in a mixing bowl. So the first step is done this way because it's a theory that when salt comes into contact with yeast, it kills the yeast. That is why it's mixed this way. But you can disprove the theory by mixing the salt with the yeast. So next goes in 100 milliliters of melted margarine. Now you can decide not to melt the margarine. The only reason why I use melted margarine is it allows me to measure it accurately when I'm using my measuring cup. That is the only reason. I don't have a weighing scale over here. That is the only reason why. And it's easier to work with too. So after your melted margarine goes in there, your yeast and water or yeast mixture goes in there. So after it goes in there, you give it a stir. You stir everything together to combine. Then you pour your 2.5 cups of hard flour. I use hard flour. The brand I use is referred to as Igwa in the local Ghanaian market. You can use any other hard flour, but they all don't work the same. The thing with Igwa, this kind of hard flour is it is not so elastic, but it's more of extends. It can extend, but it's not so elastic. I don't know if it makes sense. So when it rises, it feels bulky. It doesn't. It's not like chewing gum. Yes. So that's the kind of hard flour I use. So after your flour goes in there, 1 tablespoon of butter flavor powder and 2 teaspoons of baking powder goes in there. You mix it together, then you set your dough aside. Don't try to knead it so much, else you get tired. After about 20 minutes, you come back and you realize that it has sort of relaxed and it's easier to knead or to work with now. So at this point, if your dough feels a bit loose, you can add more flour, shape it into, add more flour and keep on kneading. Now knead till smooth. If you can even knead till it's smoother than what you see on the screen, that will be very fine. So at this point, you want to divide your dough into about 4 balls or four balls, which you would shape into rolls. Now there are so many ways of shaping a dough into a roll. This is simply how I shape mine. So I bring the ends into the center. I make the seam. Yes, I seam that part, and I put the dough on its side. Then I roll. I roll the dough back and forth. Try to cut the seam. That is simply how I seal it, making sure everything is tight and the rolls don't open up or unfurl whilst they are baking. So when you shape your rolls, you want to put them into the baking sheet, a greased baking sheet. Allow them to rise, preferably till they've doubled in size. Then you bake in your air fryer at 130 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. Please do not bake it at 180 degrees Celsius. That is not your normal oven. It will burn. I have tried it many times and I think 130 is okay. Don't be in a hurry, please. 130 will give you nicely baked bread. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make your own homemade, easy, and delicious plantain bread. Thank you so much for watching.